Okay, let's start, I think, yeah. Thank you. So first of all, thank you for the limited people who have come. I think first of all, you deserve congratulations, and you're all pretty brave, I should say, because this is the fag end when we started at 7:30 in the morning, and they put me in the last room at the last end of the day. So hopefully you guys get something useful out of this session. My name is Santhosh. I'm the Chief Data Analytics Officer at Techcombank. So for those who have heard of Techcombank, great. But otherwise, let me give you a small introduction before we go to, this is the agenda. We'll talk about it. But the primary focus of my presentation, if there is something you can take away at the end of the day, there are two things I would say. The first is how Databricks helped us to build a data platform. Okay, so we are in a Databricks conference, so I better say the good things first. But I'll also talk about some of actually why we did it. We start off on AWS native and then moved to Databricks as an accelerator, and it has proven to be beneficial to us. Second, and probably the most important, is how did we create value? Because this is a technical conference. Everyone talks about Spark, ML, which is rightfully should be spoken. But most importantly, nobody talks about, is the platform generating value? Is it actually useful? And that's what I'll talk about. And I'll talk about some examples. So let's quickly dive straight in, right? Techcombank, for those who have not heard, is Vietnam's largest bank, private bank. We made a profit of $1.1 billion US dollars, not dong. So that was last year. So we got 300 plus branches, almost 300 branches, 12,000 employees, and we have a 15.5% ROE, which is pretty strong for any listed bank, even by American or world standards. So a top bank in Vietnam, and our aspiration is not just to be the largest private bank, but the largest bank in Vietnam, and put Vietnam on the ASEAN map. That's our objective, and that's one of our stated objectives we are working towards. So again, some introduction about the bank. From an awards perspective, we've been rated the best bank by every conceivable press, whether it's Global Finance, Euro-Asia, name the bank, Euromoney, Finance Asia. I think every award under the sun we have won, and it's pretty, and I feel pretty proud standing here putting all this in front of you. But yeah, it's the hard work of all the 12,000 employees. But yeah, we call it the Grand Slam of banking. In fact, I am proud to share that in 2025, we have again won it again, all the 3 awards. Only bank, not only in Vietnam, but in Asia, to win all the 3 awards again. So we are the top bank by every measure. And some of these awards are not bought, because most awards can be bought, but these are not bought. These are evaluated with strict criteria. So that's who we are at Techcombank. Now, coming to the crux of the presentation, the question is, how did we transform, or how are we transforming, right? And then, as I told you, how did Databricks help us, or did they even help us? And then, what are some examples? I think I'm happy. I will share some examples. Like I said, you will go away with those examples. You will also understand how we created value. And I think value creation is probably the most important aspect of my presentation, because in this technical presentation, while we can talk technology, like I said, is there money to be made after all this implementation? But I think, how did we also measure impact? That's also something that I'll share. But fundamentally, I think what we need to start is with the why. The how and the what is the easy to answer, but the why is the most important. And why did we start the transformation journey? If you look at the why, you should first understand our bank structure. We are pretty good at our affluent segment. Affluent are the pretty rich guys out there, and we are pretty good at the large cap. Large cap are the biggest conglomerates in Vietnam. So as a bank, we are pretty good in financing these. But if you want to go down the value chain, whether you want to do it to the mass or the mass affluent or the smaller SMEs or the smaller businesses, you just can't do it by hiring more people. Not that you cannot do it, but you need to replicate what you did at the top level, which is to get some really, really smart people. And that cannot be scaled by hiring more and more. And for that, if you look at the left, we said powered by DDT, which is our formula, which is data, digital, and talent. So we early on, our strategy was very simple. If you have to really win, we need to unlock these 3. And if you look at and I'll go back here, I think the key is to understand that mass SME, mass affluent, and your upper SME, all this can be enabled using this power. Because if you take a big conglomerate or a rich customer, you need to have a RM or one RM to service 4 or 5 customers. But if they're mass customers, if you have a good product which is pretty easy to use, then they would use it well without the need for too much. So technology can help you. That is the key, right? It's just not about using data, digital and tech, but it's of understanding what people will use. So our 3 transformation pillars, which we proudly call, and now this everybody's gladly copying, which is also okay, it's no secret sauce, right? But we said we will use data, digital, and of course talent, our 3 pillars to differentiate ourselves. But the key is that circle in the middle. I think it's very easy to say we can get data, we'll do digital, we'll transform our business, etc. But creating that value proposition, creating that customer differentiation in the middle is the most important key. And that, for me, is the secret sauce. And you will see some of what we have created as secret sauce. Because any company that needs to succeed can buy the best. I mean, Databricks is a great product. You can buy Databricks. You can buy AWS or GCP. I mean, you can also buy talent to an extent. You can't buy too much talent, but you can buy talent. But you cannot, if you don't get that formula to work, you will not get CVP. You will get customer dissatisfaction. So yeah, so we kind of, that's the key thing in the middle is the secret sauce. And every company, that's the secret sauce. So let's start off with how our data foundation, right? So the first thing from our data foundation, we clearly said we want to have a journey where we have our data epics or capabilities mapped out. I just listed down some of the capabilities. There were 36 capabilities in our data platform journey that we mapped out, right from building ingestion patterns, to having feature stores, to having user workbench, to having a machine learning workbench, to having lineage. I mean, name it, the usual stuff. There's no rocket science here. Anyone who's done a data lake or any kind of data implementation will understand this is key. But like I told you, when I started this journey in 2021, the story that I want to share with you is we said we'll go, I mean, we had to choose between AWS, GCP, and Azure. You'll not go wrong with any one of these. I'm not promoting any of these, but we went with AWS, primarily because they had more capabilities and features built. But as we started doing development, one of the biggest bottlenecks that we faced was everything required hand coding, glue jobs. You all are pretty familiar. AWS requires lots of glue jobs. And that's when we started our conversation with Databricks, we understood that the whole ingestion pattern, the way the orchestrator works, the way that you actually can set up your pipelines, the way you can do your patterns, the way you can set up your lineage, your metadata, Unity catalog, that was pretty huge. It was just not an accelerator. It's like either you want a PC or you want a Mac. So Databricks was like a Mac to us, right? So the advantage that Databricks offered was pretty immense. So we were able to scale up, and in fact, we were one of the few banks to launch a successful data platform in record time. So Techcombank is, I'm extremely, I'm a great fan of how we are able to do the acceleration, and Databricks truly helped us actually build that acceleration. Now, if you look at our platform, again, in the morning, I think during the keynote also they spoke about the medallion architecture. We also followed the same medallion, no rocket science here, typical bronze, silver, gold, where we had different stages for our data, as you can see, and then we clearly said, how do we actually operationalize, and then how do we give access to different users across different schemas, and then how do you actually upload new data? How do you make sure that it all goes through the same pipeline? And then how are the patterns established? So we kind of build that and build that into the process. So if you look at our key, I think domain-specific workspaces was very important, because one of the biggest challenge was we had a lot of users waiting to use the platform. And we could not wait till the platform was built before we could onboard. So we had to do stuff in parallel. And that's where, again, Databricks medallion architecture helped. Because if you had said everything had to be golden data and everything had to be fully structured and everything linked up, we would never see the end of the day. So I think light of the day. So I think the biggest advantage we had was the medallion architecture helped us to democratize much faster, of course, with the right guardrails, but we are able to really start creating value. Now, this is a key slide, right? And I think why? Because this talks about how we actually layered our data platform. I call it the 4-tier lasagne, where we have our data foundations, which is at the bottom, Zulio. So Zulio in Vietnamese, for those who know Vietnamese, Zulio means data, Zulia, right? So we changed that to the English, it's a play on the word, Zulio. So while we said it is the king of the jungle, our data is king of the jungle, but Zulio also means data. So that was why we gave the name, our data platform is called Zulio. So it's a play on the Vietnamese name. Vidya is a knowledge repository where our Unity catalog and Colibra come together. And Vidya stands for knowledge, for those who know Sanskrit. And so I worked in Vietnam, so I used a combination of Vietnamese and the Indian nomenclature to bring. So Vidya is where our Unity. Now, actually, after Mathai's presentation this morning, I don't know if even we'll need Colibra in the future, because Unity catalog can kind of expand beyond just, so probably, but right now we use Unity and Colibra. That's our knowledge repository. The third is our product layer. We call it TAPS, which is Techcombank App Store, very simple, and there we create all our data products. And the fourth is our intelligence layer. I think this morning also in the keynote, everyone was talking about, hey, we will abstract the intelligence from the systems and then start building this intelligence layer. We've already started doing that. And that's where we started actually building the engagement and the intelligence. Even we have started hollowing out our core systems. Even our core banking, our cards and others are getting hollowed out, and all the intelligence is built in the AI layer. So we are not waiting to be an AI bank in the future. We are already transforming to be an AI bank in the current circumstances. So if you look at all this, this is where our roadmap and how, and we have layered our data architecture, right? We are working the full value chain, right from the platform to the knowledge repository to creating data and AI products to actually building the intelligence and also making the intelligence available across the entire ecosystem. So this is how we are actually building the full data value chain. Now, one of the things that I told you, right, it's enabled by TDDC and the Unity catalog is a knowledge repository. If you look at it, it's pretty comprehensive. So we are probably, I don't know how many, I mean, you're all working for different organizations. We have our data glossary right from source systems to BI reports. Today, Mathai was saying, even unstructured, even yesterday Mathai was saying, and Ali was saying, right, and how they have created this unstructured reference information. We have actually right now done it a bit manually, but if Unity is going to provide that out of the box, that's going to be a big feature for us. So this is right now. So those new features are coming in the current Databricks release, which we are going to take advantage of. But the key message I wanted to share with all of you is, right from the moment we source a data to the data being put into a report, we have entire lineage. So I can tell you, if I source a data and if one of my team members is making a change, I have a dashboard that traces the lineability. It's not just a dashboard that tells you also this is going to be the impact to this level of model or this report or dashboards or this report or this BI change. That is very powerful. I'm not sure how many organizations have that. I mean, I worked in Citibank and Standard Chartered earlier. We tried doing that. We could get to halfway, or we could do it in between some processes, but doing it right from sourcing till consumption was extremely challenging. So we are, again, something proud to say that. So we have, again, lots of active users. We have 87% of our data is cataloged. So meaning to say, out of, we source close to 2,000 to 3,000 files, 87% of elements of that is cataloged. We have the definition. For the rest, we are working on it. We have who actually owns that, who owns definition, how they maintain it, and it was all, and again, it's all entirely put in. As you can see, the number of users, etc., is just going up. Now our focus is trying to get ecosystem data. It's just not Techcombank's data. And when I mean ecosystem, the beauty is we are connected to our retail friends, our insurance friends, and our telco friends. So the bank is part of this greater ecosystem. So now we have started collecting that data and started curating it. And as you know, for those who are all in the AI world, labeling data, getting clean data is the biggest challenge, and we are fixing it already. So this is, again, extremely powerful, and this is something that we are pretty proud of. As I told you, all this, why are we doing? We are not just doing because we need to build an AI bank, and many people say building the AI bank of the future. For me, AI bank is present. We are already using, if we don't have this today, we would be at a disadvantage, and we need to make that advantage count. Primarily because, as people spoke about AI agents, virtual assistants, services, we already have virtual assistants, we have services, data APIs, we are experimenting on agents. We don't have too many agents in production, but we do have agents. And all this is coming to build our whole bank as an AI-driven bank. So the whole notion of whether a bank, and if a bank can be an AI-driven bank, we are a legacy bank. We do have our core system on T24 Temenos. But still, we are, like I said, we are hollowing that out. We are able to build an AI bank. So I'm sure each one of you can. But again, this is just, like I told you, a structure of how we have done it. With all the developments, I'm sure you will also start. As you can see, some of these need to be vectorized. I'm sure you all would be thinking about it. But this is again a blueprint for how we are building our bank as an AI bank. Now, I spoke a lot about our digital, our data platform. I want to talk a little bit about our digital footprint, right? Our mobile is probably one of the best, if not the best. We have consistently received, as you know, we have won not only just awards, but feedback from clients. One of the key things at an ASEAN level or even world level is we do 60 interactions with our customers on a monthly basis. For those who do digital, knowing that even if you do 60 interactions, that's pretty big number. So almost 97% of our transactions happen through our digital channel. So our retail customers, anything and everything happens through mobile. So our mobile is an extremely, extremely important channel for us to actually kind of engage with, not only with the customers, but also to build the next level of communication, and also to ensure that the customer can actually benefit from all the offers that we push through it. And we'll talk about some of these next best action and offers shortly. But again, from a mobile perspective, probably one of the great success stories in our bank. Now, so what you've still now seen is the foundations of the bank. I told you how we have built our data platform. I told you how we built a medallion architecture using Databricks. I gave you a glimmer of, sliver of data on how we have built our mobile. Now we'll get into what we have actually, what's the intelligence, right? How we have, as you saw the 4-level layers, this is the intelligence layer where we started building some of the products. So the first one that I want to talk about is a product called LACE. And then I'll talk about what Hienoi is. But LACE stands for Lead Allocation and Curation Engine, right? For those who work in banks, you would all understand, assigning leads to frontline or assigning leads to people is one of the biggest jobs of the banks, right? I mean, there's a huge army of people doing it. What we did was, and typically you would say, hey, why can't CRM do it? And for people who worked in CRM, you'll know that there's a lead allocate. Of course, CRM can do, but what CRM does not have is all the data. What CRM needs is a set of data for allocating the leads, and it can only look at one set of information. It doesn't have all the information. And that's why what we said is our CRM will be just a front end. And today even Ali was saying that, right, by 2030, there won't be any specialized CRM tools. And the reason being is the intelligence will be in the intelligence layer. As I told you, if you go back to my slide here, the intelligence is going to be in the topmost layer, and that's the brain. Because once you have all this hollowed out, and once you start building it, and once I know how my models work, I don't need a CRM system, right? I mean, why would you need, apart from the excellent workflows that they provide? I know some of you are from Salesforce and this thing, but you saw this morning also. But the reality is you don't need a CRM system. Similar with digital marketing, all these specialized systems will disappear. That's the reality, unfortunately. And that's what we already have seen. I mean, Ali said 2030. For me, even our current CRM, for those who know how we have implemented at Techcom, is actually a good front end. The intelligence is all built by us. The intelligence is built by our models. My team's models actually powers the intelligence. So that's what happens in LACE. We have O2O journeys, which is O2O stands for offline to online or online to offline, depending on how you look at where the leads have been passed off. And Hienoi is our equivalent to what I would say, I mean, for those who know Salesforce Einstein, we built our own intelligent assistant, which basically is our first agent for the bank, which basically tracks and gives explanation. So LACE is one of our intelligent products, but basically, which basically does the allocation and curation. The numbers are here, you can see. I'm not going to talk through the metrics, but the key that LACE does is it looks at our current data, it looks at external data, it looks at behavior data, it looks at how the RM has responded to the customer, it looks at telco score of that particular customer, it looks at social data, and then says this lead should be assigned to this RM for this particular purpose. The level of intelligence that goes in is extremely, extremely mind-boggling. I can tell you that much. So what happens? Now, this is in Vietnamese, so those who are Vietnamese here can obviously read it. But I mean, the whole idea is, if you look at the rightmost, right, the LACE allocation, we actually do it for the right RM. We actually allocate the lead. This is our actual production screen. And then we have something called as AI score, right? We generate this AI score based on our models and leads. And then we say we give an explanation. This explanation takes into consideration why this particular lead was assigned to this particular RM. And that is entirely driven by our models. So we turn all these features that we collect close to 10,000 features, actually now 11,000 features. Yeah, in my slide, you will later see it's 9,000 plus, but that was the old thing. Right now, as of yesterday, we have 11,000 plus customer features. So I can describe a customer in 11,000 different ways. So we take those, we build those, turn it to an AI score, and then as I told you, depending on how the RM interacted, even understanding the RM's behavior, understanding the RM's potential. In fact, it's just not about customer, how well the RM spoke to the customer last time. We collect feedback. And then even based on that, he or she might get a new lead or the different customer every time. So that's the level of intelligence that we have built. This is live in production. We are seeing a great uptick. But also I want to share with you, we have a cultural challenge also. Because till now, RMs were very used to, there was a person who was assigning leads, and they're very happy to go and talk to a just set of customers. Now they're suddenly seeing, oh, the computer is telling me to talk to this customer. The computer is telling me this is the reason. Now they're saying, hey, why is it that I should now follow the computer? But the reality is, till now, that's the point I'm trying to make. Till now, they were using their gut. Now, the intelligence is saying, you talk this way, they're seeing the conversions go up. So it is a cultural change. The data clearly shows the conversions, as I told you. As they start using this, our conversions are just going up tremendously. But again, our resistance is primarily coming from people saying that, hey, I've been doing this for many years. Now you're suddenly coming and saying there's an external digital brain that tells me how to talk to a person. And the beauty about it is we also give the script what needs to be spoken. So as a result, one of the biggest challenges we earlier had was we had to get RMs, we had to train RMs. Now, within a few days, we can get someone, we can have this whole intelligence supplied by our brain, and that person can talk to the customer seamlessly. It's such an experience. Of course, if truth be told, we are not there fully seamlessly, but that's where we are getting to. As you can see, Hanoi, as I told you, is the agent. Again, Vietnamese, but essentially it summarizes. On the left is in Vietnamese, on the right it's in English. But it summarizes entire customer's insights on one page, right? This gives you every explanation of what the customer needs, RM needs, and also explains why this particular lead was assigned, any insight, additional insight about the customer, which the RM did not know would also be here. For example, I'll give you a simple example. Customer shopped at, say, Winmart and bought a bottle of champagne yesterday for $100. Might sound trivial to you, but today the RM might actually then say, hey, sir, you had a party yesterday. And then we would link it up to know that there was a party for a celebration, and that helps in the conversation. So every piece of information we model, we get every information, and then we push it real time to our RMs. So here now is where we get our customer insights, and we get those actually, it helps in our planning and preparation stage. Now, this is a video I want to show. I'm going to play a video. This video tells, so we saw how the leads are assigned, how our Hanoi agent works. This video tells how we actually hyper-personalize, how we actually make the offer really relevant to each customer. So let me just play the video, and then you will understand the power of hyper-personalization.
In today's dynamic banking environment, it is crucial to provide customers with personalized and timely services. And our hyper-personalization project, driven by Customer Brain and Customer-Centric Decision Engine (CCDE), is a key step in our AI-lead digital transformation. It focuses on tailoring unique engagement plans for each of our 15 million customers to align with their individual preferences and needs. With over 9,000 internal data features like demographics, transactions, geolocations, combined with external insights like ecosystem penetration, family ties, and community scores, our comprehensive customer profile leverages powerful AI models such as next best offer, next best action, segmentation, and churn to gain a deeper understanding of our 15 million customers. Furthermore, to enhance engagement and avoid overwhelming customers with impersonal product-focused communication, the decision engine has been developed to enable an event-triggered customer engagement system across omni-channel, MarTech, CRM, VAC. So what have we achieved through this approach? Maximized TOI while balancing product targets by shifting from product campaigns to a customer-centric approach. Integrating existing AI models, optimized engagement preferences with personalized content, and offers based on individual customer interests and needs. Consistent communication across all touchpoints using a dynamic contact strategy. Continuous improvement by leveraging feedback such as click-through rates and transaction data to enhance quality and refined strategies. An example with Customer Min, a 20-year-old banking employee in Hanoi, who regularly uses his credit card and enjoys a morning coffee routine. With the help of NBA/NBO and AI model, CCDE recognizes significant transactions on Min's card and sends him a personalized installment offer via push notification at 7 p.m. This ensures that he receives relevant and valuable financial solutions tailored to his needs and preferences. Additionally, CCDE also sends a customized in-app message, offering a 20,000 Grab food discount for Starbucks purchases when using Techcombank card at 7 a.m. in the morning, perfectly timed to enhance his experience. Before CCDE, campaigns are generic, targeting an entire group of 100,000 customers at a fixed times across various channels. After CCDE, he introduces offers based on customers' lifestyle and habits, delivering through personalized channels and at a personalized optimal time to boost engagement. For Min, we offer Grab food discount for Starbucks purchases via message in app. However, for other people like Hai, she may also get Grab discount, but Grab traveling discount to go to their preferred Hai Di Lao restaurant. And the message will be delivered via push notification at 6 p.m. Friday night, when Hai engages the most. Overall, CCDE is a comprehensive solution that harnesses advanced analytics and AI techniques to provide hyper-personalization of customer insights through personalized channels and personalized time.
The key here is, if you look right, it's just not about the offer. It's about the time, the channel, and the preference. See, the biggest problem everyone has is we only have Grab voucher. One of the practical challenges I'll tell you, and I'm sure you all face in organizations. When we go to market, people say, oh, we have only Grab vouchers to give. But in Grab, we have food vouchers, we have bike vouchers, and within that also we have people who prefer Grab vouchers at a particular time and people who prefer at a different time. Understanding those nuances and making sure that you deliver is still personalization. And I think that's the key that we have been able to achieve. So I have 2 more slides, and then I'll stop, but probably my most important 2 slides, which will be my takeaway for you guys for having sat through a presentation at so late. So what I'm going to share with you is, how did we create value? As you can see, right, what I told you in the beginning of my presentation was, we created not just a set of tools, but we actually created value. How did we create value? How did we measure value? These are the key things. First, I'm the Chief Data Analytics Officer. I have a P&L target. So every year I have to make money for the bank. Last year, I made 914 billion, which is close to 40 million US dollars, and this is incremental revenue. So you can imagine, we target, you saw how not only new leads I have to give, you have to measure it. Very, very important. So creating this is the first example. As you can see, products like Lace and Hanoi, we have been able to give intelligent leads. And based on those leads, we are able to increase our conversion. And that's yet another way of how we are able to drive our, or measure value and the impact that we are creating. In our credit underwriting, we have more than 20% Gini uplift. For those who know credit underwriting, even a 1% Gini uplift is great. We have a 20% Gini uplift, which means we are able to actually predict the probability of default, and we are able to underwrite more customers. We are able to offer pre-qualified leads. Basically, we are able to say these customers are qualified for a loan even before the customer knows about their creditworthiness. Our campaigns, you have already seen that there's more than 200%. This is something that I'm proud of. When I joined the bank 5 years back, our chairman used the word, this is a bank with Excel excellence. Everywhere there was Excel. Today, I'm proud to say, even our management meetings, the ExCo and ALCO, which is the top decision-making point of the body, where the 16 members meet, everything is run online. Everything is done online using live data. So it's literally, we have done away with Excel, right? And it's literally using all the intelligence we built. This is something, again, very, very important that you should know. We launched an entire new product using data, and that's Shop Cash, Shop Credit. In Vietnam, as many of you know, many of them don't have access to formal credit. So based on just the transaction data, and as I told you, we have the ecosystem data, which is the telco, the behavior, the shopping patterns. We told customers, hey, you are eligible for this loan for people who run their businesses out of their homes. So we call this Shop Cash, Shop Credit. We just launched it 3 months back. In 3 months, 50 billion is $2 million US dollars. Not big, but in 3 months, we have been able to underwrite customers who never had loans before based on just data that we have, and using external data. That's something very big. And these customers don't have a credit history at all. You could have said, what's the big deal? But they didn't have credit history. We have obviously 20x. It's actually 25x. We have grown the number of campaigns. As I told you, it's 11,000 customer features. We are able to underwrite customers more. And more importantly, at least 85% of our staff have undergone training in data and AI, some form or the other. We are transforming the workforce. We don't want to leave anyone behind. Even our frontline now, when we hire, we are hiring AI personnel. So I'm sharing a true story. So I met one of our brand staff, and she knew that I was the AI officer for the bank. So when she came, she said, sir, I passed the AI test, but I had to take it 3 times. I had to retake it. Now I've joined an AI course. And this is a teller in our branch in Hanoi. So you can imagine, this young lady has so interested, so she says, next, I want to join your division. That is the interest that people have. So I think transformation is truly happening and truly changing. So this is my last slide, but I want to leave you with some learnings to share, and then I'm happy to take some questions. Look, as much as I talk about success stories, it has not been a bed of roses. We've gone through our own challenges, right? One thing we were clear is, even whether it was our commitment to Databricks or AWS or whatever, we said, if we are going with them, we do the full journey. And that way, it is not like we are testing waters. Our commitment was very ironclad. So we said, if you're doing it, let's do it. So please don't start and stop. I think having a stable environment, less said, is good. Talent aware is very important, because as you build up these, just knowing Spark doesn't make you an AI engineer, right? Or just knowing, so you must understand who is good, what their skills are, but everyone has a talent which we should harness. Obviously, start small, but finish big. The key thing about commercialization is what should you refactor, what should you shift? That's something that we have said. And the second point is probably the most important, the willingness to change operating model. Today, Jamie Dimon spoke about AI having a seat at the table. He said AI is such an important thing. 5 years back, I think Cecily and I were sharing some notes. We had a vision to keep AI a clear differentiation. We didn't keep AI as part of technology. We said data and AI should have its own path. So we are willing to even change our operating model, how we run our businesses. We are even changing how loans are being dispersed. We continuously monitor and then do. Like I told you, my focus of my presentation and my whole life at TechCom, you can say, till we are all going to be there, is our focus on business value. Because We are all technologists. I'm still pretty hands-on, I can code, but I think the reality is unless we all deliver business value, whether you work for a bank or whether you work for a pharma, or whether you work for retail, you could even work for insurance. If you don't deliver business value, if you just say I've implemented Databricks, I've implemented AWS or GCP or whatever, and then you say it's a great technical implementation, it's a good toy. I can tell you that much. It doesn't generate value. You need to focus on business value. I think generating value, migration alone is not enough. And like I said, continuous upskilling. Continuous upskilling. This is an area where we are probably learning every day. And what was good today, whatever I spoke today, like I told you, I did my presentation on Unity Catalog and Colibra. When I came here, I realized that Unity Catalog can do much more. So now I'll go back and reinvent whatever we have done. But you don't need to reinvent. You can extend. So in short, my friends, first of all, thank you for sitting through the presentation. I hope you're able to take up some value. But most importantly, like I said, keep measuring business value always. Thank you very much.